4:15 on Saturday. I just got done with some firearm safety training. You see, I got my NRA hat on, so it was kind of fitting. People since yesterday have just been, our phone is just, I can't even keep up with it anymore. I have to turn it off. So Ryan's the same way, just absolutely pleading with us to give them the opportunity to get into this battle with JB Pritzker. So we made the decision after thinking it through and talking to some people that, we're going to, for a very brief amount of time, say, okay, you missed it last time. I apologize because I feel guilty after enough people kept sending it out. So we're going to file a second case in the state court, and we're also going to file a big case in the federal court. We're going to do both, right? And we're going to start with the state court like we did before, and then we'll get the federal case going. Assuming this thing hasn't crashed and burned and JB's law gets shot down, then that's our ultimate goal, is to get rid of this law. So that's what we're going to do. Ryan has put the link out there, and it's going to be available. And I don't know how long it's available for. Ryan knows that. But there's a couple of things I want to go over with you guys, that questions. I tried to read some of the emails, and here's a couple of them. Somebody asked me about the county resolution. You know that there's these resolutions, because I help put some of those together for my local county, especially just a proposed draft that they could do what they want with it. That says that the county doesn't recognize any types of bans, and that they weren't going to use county resources for it. You guys are familiar with those resolutions, right? You can go talk to your own lawyers if you want to, because I'm not giving any of you legal advice as it relates to, unless you're my client. But if you're my client right now, you've got a restraining order that protects you. But generally speaking, I want you guys to know that county resolution that your county board may have adopted does not protect you from this law. So if you violate that law in your county, it is a violation of the law that the governor signed, and the state police could do something about that if they want to, even if your local county sheriff's not going to. So that county resolution does not protect you. And if anybody tells you that it does, you ought to make sure you get real specific legal advice, okay? Because if you call me, I'm going to tell you that it doesn't protect you. It's something that the county can adopt, and it's okay, and they can discourage anybody in the county from helping with this law, and etc. But it does not protect you legally from criminal prosecution, okay? I wanted to know that that's very important. Carolyn, where are you going to file the next suit? I'm not going to tell you, because they're going to figure that out. The next one, somebody asked me, well, Tom, if I join this case, am I putting a target on my back? Am I going to be a target down the road? And, for the last 3 years, I've dealt with that, you guys, on every aspect of business owners and parents defending against their kids. Oh, if I do this, is somebody coming after me? The boogeyman. Guys, I can't answer those questions. I mean, I say I've never had that happen. So in the 3 years I've been fighting for thousands of people, I've never had one of my clients say, oh, they came after me because I did this. That's all I can tell you. But, that's a human condition, thinking, well, if I stand up for myself, somebody's going to pick on me. You have to do what you have to do. If you're concerned about putting your name on something, then don't do it, right? You can't come and ask me or anybody else to say, give me some assurances that they're not going to pick on me. Nobody's going to do that. So maybe it just means you're not comfortable enough doing it. And that's okay. I'm not criticizing you. But I want to let you know, nobody can answer those questions, okay? So let me back up a little bit. So again, the order that the judge entered yesterday that says he likely believes that this is unconstitutional. He didn't do a final ruling. It's a preliminary ruling. So the people that were in that case, the 862 of them, right now are exempt from that law. So they're free to go buy, transfer, do whatever they want to do as if this law didn't apply to them. And they can continue to do that as long as this order is in effect, okay? So that's what that order meant. So let me see if there's any questions real quick. I'll try to answer them. Ronnie says Game Masters here in Quincy will not sell those to those included in the TRO. Ronnie, that's their choice. You can't make them. An FFL doesn't have to sell to whoever they don't want to sell to. That's their choice. I think they're wrong. I mean, they absolutely can sell to people legally on the people that are exempt, because the statute has those categories of exempt people. You know what I'm talking about. The statute created those categories: police officers, current, retired, etc. So those statutory exemptions, an FFL can sell to them under the state law. This judge's order is another exemption. It's equivocal to the statute. So those in that case right now, where that restraining order is in place, they're exempt from the law as well by court order. So they're really sitting in the same position as a police officer, current or retired, etc. But if an FFL doesn't want to, again, I can't make them. So you just go find an FFL that'll sell them to you. And then Ryan will send you the documents from the court order that you need. And he may have already done that. Okay. Okay. Ronnie says they stated it's because only the FFLs included in the TRO can sell to those included in the TRO. That's not true, Ronnie. But again, I can't give legal advice to that FFL. That FFL that wasn't included in the TRO is free to sell to anyone that the law doesn't preclude them from selling to. And the law does not preclude today them from selling to those. So again, if that FFL is giving himself his own legal advice, that's what he can do. But you can't argue with him. Let me see here. I mean, the FFLs that are not in the case, there's 4 of them in the case. The FFLs that are not in the case are always free to sell to people that are exempt. They're always free to do that. So an FFL that's in the case can sell unequivocal to anybody they want to now. No doubt about that. That's in this case or otherwise exempt. So and they can purchase them, they can transfer them. They're not bound by this law at all. So there's some FFLs right now that have some issues, and I'm not getting into my client's details, that this law helps them with. But citizens that are in this case, they can buy from anybody that they want to right now. Let me see here. Billy, I've already answered that question to the best of my ability. Somebody in this case right now that's currently in the case 1, they can buy from any FFL they want to. They're not violating the law. And I'm not advising any FFL, but those FFLs could sell to my clients, and they're not violating the law either, because my clients right now are not subjected to that law whatsoever. Okay, let me see here. Yeah, that's another thing that's important too, you guys. I'm glad. I think Kristen might have said something over here. If you decide to join up, if you make that decision, once you sign up and you're in the system, there is a document, another document coming that you have to sign. It's called a verification. And we had several people the first round that would not respond to our emails and our numerous requests to sign that document. If you're going to sign up, watch your email, for goodness sakes. Pay attention to what's going on, because you're going to get correspondence from us that you absolutely have to respond to. And if you don't respond to it, you're going to be left out, and I can't help you with that, okay? So if you're going to take the time, the energy, and the effort to sign up, watch your email and pay attention, please, to what's going on, because it creates a nightmare for Ryan Cunningham, who is an absolute gracious, brilliant man. But it creates a nightmare for him to have to go back and babysit these things, because people after the first, second, or third time don't respond. You need to respond, and you need to respond on time, or you're going to be left out, because we just don't have the time or the ability or the energy to keep sending numerous requests over and over and over again. Okay, so I don't want to have to come back to that. Okay, let me look here again. Okay, I think that's going to be about it. That's about it. I mean, if somebody's having a problem with their FF, I mean, I'll send that email to my clients directly. I saw the question over there. I'm going to answer it. Somebody says, ring neck, why do we have to pay to be plaintiffs? Well, you just, you don't have to become a plaintiff if you don't want to. It's up to you if you don't want to fight this. I mean, you can, I don't know of any group, the Illinois State Rifle Association, the NRA, all of these organizations, there's other lawyers besides me that are working on these things that aren't in some fashion having to pay people for their time, right? I mean, whatever you do for whoever asked that question, I don't know what you do for a living, but I'm assuming whatever you do for a living, that you don't do it for nothing, because people have to work and do something. So, you don't have to join this case, sir, whatever your name was. And I respect the fact that you don't, but that's the best answer that I can give you. People say, are people protected if the sheriff refuses to uphold the law? And that's one of the things that I'm going to tell you that the governor's not wrong on. Regardless of what the sheriff chooses to do in your county, if the state police choose to do something and you're violating this law, the state police, you could get in trouble for that until this law is permanently overturned. So, yeah, the sheriff is only one law enforcement mechanism. The state police are completely independent, and they're probably going to do what the governor wants. All right, I'm going to check this here. The purpose of the restraining order is to last until we eventually get the case overturned or get the law overturned completely. That's how long we want the restraining order to last. But again, I can't predict anything. The restraining order will last. The one that we have right now will last until the end of the case and the law is deemed unconstitutional, or it'll last until a higher court might make a different decision than this judge. I can't predict on what those answers will be, guys. If I could, I wouldn't be a lawyer. I'd be playing the lottery. Now, Courtney says, I can't with these people. You shouldn't have to pay to have your rights protected. I understand. I try to be as, nice as I can be with that. But, we have rights in this country because it's the greatest country on the planet. But when they're under attack, we have to stand up for them, right? And to just look around and say who else is going to do it, there are some people that are like that, Courtney, and we just have to accept it for what it is. So, what are you going to do? It's not a big group of people, Courtney, but you're right. Some of them that do. But I mean, this lawsuit that we're doing like this, the way that we're doing it, we're trying to make it where as many people can join and it doesn't cost very much. If one individual person in here wants to go hire a lawyer that represents only them in this case, they can do that. It'll probably cost them several $100,000, but go ahead. All right. I think that's about it. All right, guys. So I will, Ryan's got the timer going out on the website, devorlawoffices.com. Oh, that's another thing. If you go to our website, there's a place where you can click a message. It's like a general message where you can send an email, and it'll typically people that want me to represent them in different types of cases will say, hey, I've got this issue, Tom, are you interested, etc. Well, I'm getting tons of emails from that general messaging box going, Tom, how do we sign up for this case? And I put a little Facebook post out there because I kind of chuckled after the first 2 or 3, but when I got to like 50 of them, I'm like, when you go to the website, the whole front page of the website is how to sign up for this case. And so if you're going to the general message section of the website and sending me a message, you've looked over everything that has to do with how you sign up for this case. So just look a little bit closer, you guys, if you don't mind, okay? It'll save me and Ryan a lot of grief. Okay. Do you have a list of the 4 original FFL gun dealers that were part of the original case? The answer is yes, and we'll get them up on the website for you guys, okay? Why you guys are going so fast. Okay, all right, guys, that's all I got. I've got to go do a couple of things and start getting this thing organized for us, and I'm still working on our federal issue. So that's all I got. Love you. Let Ryan know if you have any questions. He loves getting your email.